Hello, everyone, and welcome back. This is Doc Ed Padama, and this time we will be discussing the 5 common research defense questions. And I already have listed the following. Number one, what is the significance of your research? So, for this particular video, I will be presenting the question, the definition, or the objective or the goal why this question is being asked and how you should answer this question. So, the question is, what is the significance of your research? So the goal of this question is to understand the importance and relevance of your study in the broader context of the field. How do you answer? You may start by presenting the reason why you chose this study. What motivated you to conduct the study? Number two, you can also present the need to conduct the study. An argument presenting evidences that there is a need to conduct this study. Okay, that is why it is important that you find out the answer to this particular study, the answer to the issue that you are presenting in your study. That is why this is considered significant. Your study is significant because in your profession there is this particular issue and there is no study that has conducted and presented answers on this particular issue, and therefore this study is significant and it can add knowledge to what is already existing or improve what is already being done to address that particular issue. So this is how you present the significance of your study or the significance of your research. So we presented two possible answers that you can use in order to present the significance of your research. The third one, in your manuscript, you have a part wherein it is labeled, supposed to be labeled significance of the study. In that particular part of your research paper, significance of the study, the beneficiaries and the benefits of your study is enumerated. Again, you can present that as a third option in order to answer the question, what is the significance of your study or of your research paper? So that is how you answer the first question. The second one, what were your research methods, or what were the research methods used, and why did you choose this research method? So this particular question is asked. This question seeks to evaluate the rigor and the appropriateness of the method that you use. Is it really suitable, compatible, necessary to use this method for this particular study? That is why this question is being asked and why you selected these specific methods over the others. So in this last part, you need to justify why you use this particular method. So we have already presented the question and the goal why this question is being asked. So how do you answer this particular question? You present the research method that you use. So if the method that you use is quantitative, quasi-experimental research. So how do you start to answer this particular question? We use quantitative quasi-experimental research because according to, you cite an author and then you give the definition. According to this author, the definition of this method are the following. And you try to relate that definition to the study that you are conducting. And since we want to test a particular strategy in our study, this particular method, which is quantitative quasi-experimental, is the most appropriate based on the definition and the function of this particular method. So you have the support of the author of the research method wherein you got the definition, and then you can use that to answer this particular question. Okay, again, the second is that in your manuscript, in your research paper, there is also a part of your paper wherein it is stated, it is written, the method and research design or technique that you use, which is located in chapter 3. By the way, going back to question number 1, significance of the study can be found in chapter 1. So everything that you are saying, everything that you are giving to your panel during the defense should be based and included in your research manuscript. Okay, number 3, if you were tasked or asked to create a full research and this is your final defense, this particular question will be included. So this question is, what are the main findings of your study? What are the findings of your study? So what is the goal of this particular question? This question requires you to summarize the key findings of your research and explain their implications in the field or the area. Okay? So again, in reference to your manuscript, you can find this in chapter 5 of your research paper, and supposed to be the title of chapter 5 is the summary of findings, conclusion, and recommendation. So the first part of chapter 5 is the summary of findings, which is exactly what is being asked of you in this particular question. So what do you need to do? You just need to present. You can read if there is a lot of findings, and you can just guide the committee or the panel in presenting your findings or the findings of your study. So again, remember, it requires you to summarize the findings of your research. So it would be better if you can present this without reading from your manuscript and you just summarize it to your committee or to the panel during the defense. But again, when you do the summarization of the findings of your study, it should reflect what is written in chapter 5, which is summary of findings. Okay? So basically, that is what you need to do on that particular question, which is the third question in our list. The fourth one, what are the limitations of your study? The limit of your study. So that is the question. What is being asked of you in this particular question? This question explores the weaknesses or constraints, limitations of your study, such as the limitation in terms of the sample size, data collection methods, or potential biases. So again, in reference to your manuscript, there is a part of your manuscript that is entitled uh, the scope and limitation of the study. Scope and limitation of the study is found in chapter 1. So when you talk about limitations of the study, I always explain this to my students that limitation refers to the exclusions or those that were not variables that were not included in your study because of unforeseen circumstances or unforeseen reasons that is beyond the control of the researcher. Limitation are exclusions, variables that were not included that is beyond the control of the researcher. So example is the pandemic, since you will not be allowed to collect data face to face. Therefore, you opted another method by doing online using online forms. So those are or can be included as part of the limitations of your study if you will be asked on specific limitations. What specific limitations did your study have? Okay, so you can give that particular example. And aside from that, you can also dwell into the sample size. Data collection method is what I already presented, or the biases that is included in your study. Again, the limitation are two different terms. So when we talk about the limitation, these are exclusions, variables that were not included because of justifiable reasons decided by the researcher. Okay, so that is the difference between limitation and delimitation, and you can use any one of them based on the prescription or the prescribed term of your respective university or HEI or higher education institution. The last one, excuse me, how does your research contribute to the existing body of knowledge? Earlier, in the first question, I already presented in the significance of the study. Part of that is to discuss how this particular study that you are doing would contribute to what is already known. Okay, let's read the goal of this question. This question probes or investigates how your study builds upon or challenges existing literature and advances the understanding of the topic. So when we talk about advances in understanding the topic or the issue being investigated, what can be added to what is already known? So that is how you should that is where you should focus in answering this question. How does your research contribute to the existing body of knowledge? What can be added to what is already known, to what is already existing? So how do you answer this particular question? So you can go to the recommendations of your study and then try to present points in your recommendation that is new, that is innovative, that answers the findings of your study. And these can contribute to what is already existing. These can develop what is already being used. Okay, so I hope you were able to take away something from our discussion on the 5 common research defense questions, the actual question, the goal of the question, and how you should answer these questions. Again, thank you very much. Don't forget to please subscribe to my YouTube channel at Doc Ed Padama. Share this video so your colleagues, classmates, or research group mates can also benefit in our discussion. Thank you very much, everyone. Stay safe and God bless. I will see you in our next video. Bye.